Yes, people, reality-based diets. Another one. Summer's really starting to find its way to us now, isn't it? There's a shift in seasons. There's a shift in the weather, in the energy. Supposedly a global shift as well. A global shift amongst the conscious collective, um, whether or not you believe in it, you know? It is the general consensus. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is more so slightly back on myself, but I'm going to reference it to being from the UK, having grown up in the UK, and being very much British. As much as I was born in London, and I've lived in England the majority of my life. I've also lived in Wales, which I love Wales. It's a beautiful country. Um, and also my grandmother is Scottish. So I very much count myself as British and black British because when push comes to shove, outside of like specific descriptions by police or people that really want to split a hair, that's how I am seen as a black man, whether good or bad, you know. But the point is, um, because of my upbringing, which isn't particularly religious at all, me and someone like me finding God, especially in the way that I have, where I'm so open about talking about it, I'm so open about talking about God specifically, as opposed to religion. Other than when I'm talking on religion, I understand that in order for a lot of people to really reach the places that they really want to reach in life, especially even for the world to globally be really ready for the next stage of human evolution, which is space travel, right? You may not believe it, but it is. There's very much been a shift in what all governments are looking to spend on. But in order for people to really be ready for it in terms of what the knock-on effects are and what they will be for people of Earth and humans in general, which in reality is the simple fact of we're not the only things that are sentient within the universe, right? And even that, the reality is space travel and other sentient beings existing within the universe is furthermore proof of God to a lot of people who are religious and who are scientists. It's a lot for a lot of people to get their head around. Even more so, it's a lot for a lot of people to get their head around how open someone like me is to the notion of God without the structure of religion. But what I have done is taken the time to actually not just study religion or one specific religion or one specific book, but I've cross-referenced a lot of them in my own time because it was always going to be a choice of self. But what I really am trying to hammer home here more than anything else is that the average person will see someone like me as mad when how can I be mad? I'm probably the calmest that I've been throughout my whole life, you know? like I'm saying to you, when I first started this channel, there was elements going on in my life where you even know that there was some weird shit going on in my life, and sometimes you have to counterbalance somebody else's plot with your own plot, and you have to play a part. And the reality is, I've said it before, I'm able to do sensational acting, right? I can do Welsh accents all day long because I lived there. Like, I understand the accent inside out. Now, when I lived in Bournemouth, my accent was far more Cockney, right? Which means it was far more what man would call a white man accent, right? But the fact of the matter is, Bristol, if you're not really from Bristol, it's not as West Country as you would think. But then there's a lot of people here that have got very soft British accents, but it still sounds more South England. And then you add in the aspect of road culture, because it's not attuned to the way black people speak as much as people think it is, because it's 2025. The reality is that there is so many African and Caribbean people in Bristol. It's not even just Jamaicans, you know, it's not even just Nigerians or Ghanaians, which is what the majority of people think of when you say African or Caribbean. It's just factual, right? But like I'm saying to you, the overall consensus in a lot of times is that you must pick up one of the books and make a decision in order to find God. But as I've said many times, I found God within self. I found God within believing in self. I found God within believing in my inner strength. And by believing in my inner strength, I found inner peace. I rap about it in my song Bigger Man. Yeah, Axel Holy, Badies Brown, Bigger Man. And I just have a line where I say I found peace, but it wasn't wasn't where I thought it would be, or something like that. I can't remember the specific bar now. And a lot of what I'm trying to do with my life is more so about legacy, because beyond anything else, I never looked at music after a certain point. Like, once I'd made a decision that hip hop, specifically the way that I make it years ago, was gonna pay off in any type of way. I just wanted to make art. That was kind of the problem with me. There was too much of an artist in me to really do things the way that the most conventional people would. Even in terms of dropping out of uni from graphic design, because it was so far from the course that I'd done in college, where it was a lot more about art. It was art and design. And graphic design, it felt sterile, it felt restricted. It felt like we were literally doing briefs that were set by companies, which we were, and we weren't getting paid. The universities were. And I was just thinking, well, if we're the ones doing this, we just don't even need to be it, right? And I just worked that out real quick. And some people don't get that. That isn't work experience. That's slave labor, right? The university was already making money off of us, so why should they make more? Why is it wrong for me to question that? Why am I mad to think and say that, right? That is the type of thinking that makes people believe you're an extremist, right? It makes people believe that you are an agent of chaos, when really you're the person who's going to question the dishonesty that is going on around you. And if you're not prepared to answer the questions that I have, then I won't be prepared to answer yours. So I'll ask people to specify what it is that they're trying to say, and then specify exactly how you've come to that conclusion. And 9 times out of 10 they cannot, but I can. And that's the difference between me and them. So you understand why someone like me not only would be deemed difficult to work with, right? Because you can't get things past me that easily. So you actually have to be a lot more honest. And the world really isn't honest. The world is full of double standards and half-truths from everyone. And unfortunately, when I found inner peace and I found God, I realized the only thing I needed at my side at all ever was the truth, because God is within me. Not that I am God, but God is within me. So like within this transition in my life, like I'm saying to you, I still haven't really decided on a religion, because there's a large part of me that believes I don't specifically need one to be able to pray. I don't need one to be able to believe that there is a God. I don't need one to believe that there is something far greater than self. There is something far greater than the human race. There is something far greater than the planet Earth. I don't need it. And to a lot of people, it's unfathomable. And it's nothing to do with my concepts being so far-fetched or outlandish. It is literally to do with the simple fact that they cannot imagine anything far greater than self. They cannot imagine something far greater than what they're told on the news and what they've been force-fed through education their entire lives, right? But it's through faith that a lot of people have done some of the most amazing things that the world has ever seen. And that's enough for me. Because everything that I've learned tells me that there is a God. And everything that I've learned also tells me the main reason that a lot of people cannot accept God into their life is their own ego. Now, what if I was to tell you that even as a Christian, you do not have to attend church every Sunday? Right? You do not. You can have a Bible, read your Bible, go to church when you want to go to church. A church is a man-made place. It's not made by God. It was not made by Jesus. Right? You can go to the park and read your Bible and pray. You're in nature. God made all of this. This is God's church. Why not? That's my thesis. That's why there's a problem with a lot of what I say. Because the reality is, a lot of people put restrictions on believing in God. Like it has to be their way or no other. When they're not God. They're not even from the place of source of all 3 of the major religions that are spoken on and chosen in the 21st century. They are not, right? Especially within the UK. There's a lot of people who object to spirituality. A lot of people who object to religion. There's a lot of people who object to faith. Yet they become insulted when you tell them that they are faithless. If someone asks you if you believe in God and your answer is no, then you are faithless. And it's easy to see where someone who does have faith, not only are they not faithless, but they often fear less in the face of danger or in the face of insurmountable odds, because they call on the strength of God, inner strength, the inner knowing. Because your faith is not for everyone else. Your faith is not for a group. Your faith is not groupthink. It is not a secret society. It is solely knowledge of self gained through faith that there is a higher power. Reality-based diets. Axel Holy. Peace.